The factor theorem. Another opportunity to look at a theorem in math, always a good thing. And the factor theorem is going to incorporate the remainder theorem and give us a method for factoring polynomials. Here we go. So a polynomial p of x has x minus a as a factor when p of a equals 0. So it's very much the remainder theorem in reverse. We calculate p of a, and then if the answer is 0, we know that x minus a is a factor. Here's how it works. We're going to factor this polynomial. I strongly recommend that before you work on the factor theorem, check that you could use one of the other methods. So we'll look for a common factor. Nope. We don't have 2 or 3 terms, we have 4, so we'd have to do grouping. That's in the ratio 4 to 16, and that's in the ratio 9 to negative 9. They're not in the same ratio, so grouping is not going to work. So that means the only method left to us is the factor theorem. So here we go. What do? We have to find an a value such that p of a equals 0. So the easiest number to start with would be 1. Plug in 1 for all your x values, work out your answer. Answer is 20. Is the answer 0? No. Keep going. So if we've tried 1, the next easiest number would be negative 1. If you've written all these numbers down, all the odd exponents are going to swap signs. The even ones stay the same. So it'll certainly shorten the time taken to do the calculation. Check the remainder, still not 0. Next easiest number is 2, but here's a hint for you. It's an absolute waste of our time to try 2 and negative 2. So the numbers that work must divide into this number right here. Absolutely must divide. So 2 and negative 2 are a waste of time. 4 and negative 4 are a waste of time. Same with 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. So what's the number that goes into 9 and is bigger than 1? How about 3? Oof, that's awfully big. Let's try negative 3. Oh yes, we've got an answer of 0. So now we know something. We know that x minus 3 is a factor. So our factor is x plus 3. So let's just look at that again. When you've found a number that works, this is a number that when you plug it in will make the polynomial equal 0. It means this is an x-intercept. If negative 3 is an x-intercept, your factor must be x plus 3. Now we're going to find out what happens when we divide this polynomial by x plus 3. So let's just do something on the side here first. If we had x plus 2 multiplied by x plus 1. You verified this before using the box. So we'd have x plus 2 on this side, x plus 1 over here. You'd multiply it out, x squared, 2x, x, and 2. So we'd say that this equals x squared plus 3x plus 2. So that's using the box to expand and get ourselves the polynomial. What we're going to do is we're going to go backwards. So I call this the backwards box. So imagine if you knew that x plus 2 was a factor of x squared plus 3x plus 2, and you wanted to find your other factor. We could use the box going backwards. So we would start with the highest exponent and say, what do you multiply x by to get x squared? It would have to be x. What do we multiply x by to get x squared? Then we can fill in this missing position in the box. There's our 2x. These terms are going to give us our middle term of 3x. So what do we need? We've got 2x already. I think we need another x. Because 2x and x give us 3x. And that's what we expected. What do you multiply x by to get x? That would be 1. Fill in the missing term. And then the 2 boxes match. So going forwards, you write the factors down expand them. Going backwards, we actually work with this to see if we can find the missing factor. And that's what we're going to do over here. So here we go. X plus 3 is being divided into 4x cubed. So we start with the highest exponent. And the question is, what do you multiply x by to get 4x cubed? And the answer is 4x squared. Check. 4x squared times x, 4x cubed. Now we're going to work this piece out. 4x squared times 3 is 12x squared. These two boxes, when we combine them, are going to give us 16x squared. We have 12x squared. We're missing 4x squared. What do you multiply x by to give you 4x squared? I'm getting an answer of 4x. Once you know what that is, you can work out the bottom. That's 4x times 3 gives us 12x. And then these two boxes, that's where the x term is coming from. So if we have 12 and we want positive 9, I think we're going to have to subtract 3 of them. What do you multiply x by to get minus 3x? The answer is minus 3. Multiply the minus 3 by 3. The answer is negative 9. Do you need to add anything to that negative 9 to get the number? Well, let's see. We want these to add up to negative 9. I don't think we need to add anything. And that is our remainder. And that's what we expected. And it's a really nice, easy way of checking your work. So I think we better do that again. This might be the first time you're seeing this. We started with the highest power of x, which was 4x cubed. That's where this came from. We said, what do we multiply x by to get 4x cubed? The answer is 4x squared. And then just like you did over here, you can fill in these pieces by multiplying your other boxes together. So x times 4x squared, 4x cubed. 3 times 4x squared, 12x squared. These two terms give us the x squared term. So 12 and 4 gives us 16. And then repeat the process. What do you multiply x by to get 4x squared? The answer is 4x. The minute you know that, you can fill out the bottom square. 3 times 4x is 12x. Very much like taking this times that term to fill out the bottom one. These two give us the x term. So 12x minus 3x is 9x. Repeat the process. What do you multiply x by to get minus 3? X, and the answer is minus 3. Once you know the minus 3, there's your minus 9. These terms give you the number term. We don't need anything else. That's our remainder. That's what we expected. And so what do we do with this? We found out that when we divide by x plus 3, it goes in evenly 4x squared plus 4x minus 3 times. There we are. So we divided by x plus 3 goes in evenly 4x squared plus 4x minus 3 times. Now, keep factoring. I don't see a common factor. I'm not expecting to because we didn't see one in the beginning, so they shouldn't magically appear. 1, 2, 3 terms, those look like a trinomial to me. What multiplies to 4x squared? Try 2x and 2x. Multiplies to 3, 3 and 1. Can we get ourselves a 4x out of there? Looks like it, doesn't it? We're going to get 6x and 2x. We want to end up with positive 4x, so that'll be positive and this one negative. And so there are the factors. So that one's done. Okay, let's try another one. The first step, again, we must find ourselves a factor. The way we find a factor is to plug in a value for x until we get an answer of 0. Could be a very long process. Hopefully it'll be shorter this time. So let's find p of 1. Ooh, we are in business. So when you plug in 1, you get an answer of 0. We have found our factor. Our factor is x minus 1. So backwards box, here we come. We're dividing x minus 1. Why? Because that's the factor. dividing it into here. Start with your largest power of x. What do you multiply x by to get 2x cubed? 2x squared. Once you've got that, you should be able to fill in the bottom part of the box. I'm getting minus 1 times 2x squared is minus 2x squared. These two boxes, this is where the x squared term comes from. We have minus 2. We need a total of minus 3. I'd say we need minus 1 more. So those terms give us the minus 3x squared term. You keep going. What do you multiply x by to get negative x squared? I would get negative x for that. As soon as we know that, we can fill in this bottom box. Negative x times negative 1, positive x. These two terms, that's going to give us all our x terms. So we want to end up with minus 5x when we're done. We have 1. We'd have to subtract 6 to get minus 5. What do you multiply x by to get minus 6? Multiply your minus 6 by your minus 1. And then let's check that we've done everything right. These two terms are what give us the number. So we don't need to add anything to 6 to get 6. Our remainder is 0. We know we have done this right. All right. So when we're factoring this, we said one of the factors is x minus 1. So here's one of the factors. Here is the other factor. So that's what comes down here. X minus 1, 2x squared minus x minus 6. Keep going. 1, 2, 3 terms. Looks like trinomial factoring to me. Multiplies to 2x squared. I'd try 2x and x. Multiplying to 6, that's 3 and 2. 100% sure we can't put the 2 here, because that would give us a common factor. So let's try 3 and 2. Is there a possibility of getting an x out of this? We have 3x, 4x. We want negative x, so that looks like it works. Okay, so that is factored. Your job today, these are going to take a while because it takes a while to find the factors. And then you have to use all your previous methods. So it's a magnificent review. Be patient. Be really careful with your numbers. It's truly unfortunate when you miss something that works by being careless with your positives and negatives. If I could give you a hint on this, I tend to add all my positives, combine all my negatives, and then deal with them. So the way I do this one, I'd say I'd have 2 and 6 giving me 8, negatives, negative 3, negative 5, negative 8, and that's where our 0 comes from. So be careful. You don't want to make a mistake and have to get into much larger numbers that you don't want to work with. I think that's all I've got for you for hints. This is a really, really useful method. Takes practice. You get to work on it. Have fun.